welcome.
Hello, Steve. Nice to see you again. This is Martin here.
You're a lot of guys in the band Smokie, so let's start out with a short introduction. Martin Bullard, tell me a little bit about yourself and your role in the band.
I'm the keyboard player, and I joined in March 1988, so I've had 16 years with Smokie. And as far as the role in the band is concerned, well, it's a balance of instruments, and ever since the 80s, the keyboards have been balanced into the sound and have become an integral part of the sound. And that's my role, to bring a sort of the keyboard sounds, styles, a bit of classical music into Smokie to integrate the sound.
This is your first new album in 2 years, and as I said in the beginning in Danish, it's the first one with your own songs in 8 years. How come you are waiting so long for doing your own songs again?
Well, we didn't want to wait so long, exactly. I mean, we were always writing new material, but for a period of time it was very popular to release covers. And of course, our Danish fans will know that we recorded 2 albums of covers, Uncover 1, Uncover 2, and they were very popular. They were good versions of the songs, and we were happy to do those, but also quite keen to get back into the studio to do our own material. And it's taken this long. We didn't want it to take this long, but it's taken this long to get around to doing it. Also, we've spent quite a bit of time actually making this album, which is unusual for us, because normally we record in about 6 weeks, right at the beginning of the year, because it's the only time we have, because the rest of the year is taken up with touring. This time we recorded 3 tracks at a time, and we spaced it out over a year and a half. We wrote songs together for the first time, something we talked about 15 years ago, and we've finally done. So we're happy that finally we're releasing an album of original songs.
How was it working with your own songs?
Oh, it's just great, really. It's nice. It's nice that you don't have the limitations imposed by other people with their songs. If you're recording someone else's song, you're trying to be faithful to the style and to the lyrics, and try and make sense of it in a way which is kind to them. With your own music, you have a blank sheet on which to start. You have no chords, you have no lyrics. You just start writing, and within a couple of hours something starts to take shape. The hardest thing of all actually is writing the lyrics. That really is the hardest thing. And for us, as you know, lyrics are very important in Smokie, because the songs do have to have a storyline. With 5 people shouting out ideas for lyrics, of course, it becomes quite a jumble, quite a mixture of ideas. But it does help having lots of people thinking up ideas. That way we actually created songs fairly quickly. So it's been nice to do that.
When you're writing a song, what is it the inspiration from your own lives, or is it just fantasy?
A mixture of both, really. You can never be sure where inspiration comes from. It comes from the subconscious, and ideas just spring to mind. So I think it's a mixture of things that you've experienced and things that you'd like to experience, and fiction apart from that. Fictional ideas about relationships, particularly. I mean, that is our main subject matter, Smokie and love. 30 years of writing love songs, and here we are still doing it, and there's still new things to say about it, which is great. We're not stuck for ideas, we're not stuck for lines and interesting new ways to express a very old concept.
The producer of this album, how did you found him, and what was his role into the new album On The Wire?
Simon Humphrey is an old friend. He worked with us originally on Boulevard of Broken Dreams in 1989, on Whose Are These Boots. He worked with us when we started our relationship with CMC back in 1995 on The World and Elsewhere, and also on the Christmas album. After that, we had a bit of a departure, and we went off to make the Nashville album. That was a totally different producer. And again, when we returned to make the covers, Simon wasn't on the project. He is ideally the best person to work with when we're doing our own original material. But in any case, he's a very good person to work with, because he knows exactly how the vocal balance should be, and he knows how to get the right type of Smokie sound. When we record with Simon, we don't have to explain anything. We've worked that many times with him that it happens very, very quickly, and we get exactly the sound that we like.
Do you have any favorites on this album, Martin?
Well, that changes. It always does. One of my favorites all the way through has been Hot Loving. Although at the demo stage it wasn't. We really have transformed that song. I enjoy that one very much. I enjoyed playing it, and it's got a very rock and roll sound and feel to it. But another favourite, and I'm sure most people are going to say this, is Home Is Anywhere You Are, which is just simply a beautiful song, a simple song that we've incorporated into the live show. We've been playing it live for about 3 months now, and I have a feeling it'll remain in the set for a good long time.
Great. Thanks for giving time for this interview, Martin, and good luck with your new album.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Let's have a short introduction. Tell us a little bit about your role in Smokie, Steve.
Yeah, well, I joined Smokie 1987, so it's been a long time, 17 years. And it's just been one long roll of fun, you know, it's been great. Play drums, obviously, I think most people know that. And it's just nice that everybody in the band's still ambitious, you know. We're really very, very ambitious, and everybody still loves what we do, so we'll go with it for as long as it keeps on rolling, you know.
And now you're out with your first album with new songs in 8 years. How come it took so long for bringing out an album with your own songs again?
I think we wanted to try a couple of different projects. You know, we went to Nashville, we did that one, and we loved the album. It was fantastic, great songs on it, and it worked well because it went on a lot of compilations. So it got us out to a bigger audience, much wider audience. And then after that, the record company came up with an idea that we'd already had for years and years, probably about 10 years before that, to do covers album. And so we did the first covers album of songs we wanted to do, and it, as you know, it was very successful. So as record companies do, they wanted to do another one because it's a safe bet, you know. So we did the next one on cover 2, and we enjoyed doing it, although we'd have rather done a new album then with all new songs. So we did that, and that was also successful. So now it's the turn of the new one, and we're all excited about it because we've written, I think, 11 out of the 14 tracks ourselves, and we only chose 3 other songs that were brought in from all over the world, 300 actually that we chose from. So it was good for us to listen to the 11 songs that we do and see that they were stronger than anything else that had been sent to us, apart from these 3 songs that we chose to go on, which was Hot Lovin', Endless Ways, and what was the other one? Can't remember the other one. Anyway, but it was, you'll know it. It was, so it's been good, and we're excited about it.
How did you pick out the songs for the album?
We picked them by writing them, you know. We wrote a few, and we actually put some down that we haven't completed, but we've got them down in the studio that we could go back to, you know. Whether we do or not, I don't know, but we'll just keep on writing, maybe for the next album as well. But that, I just said, you know, we wrote 11 songs, some of them all together, some of them individually, and that's how this album came to be.
How was your working process about writing songs together? It must have been difficult with 6 persons.
Pain in the fucking neck, really, you know. Yeah. Yeah, no, it was, we chose...
5 of us in the band still.
Oh, God, I've been away so long.
We all got together, we got a place, a broken down little shack near where Mick lived, actually, in a place called Ossett, and we went there, and that was in December 2002. I didn't realise it was that long ago, but that's when we started actually writing songs for this album. And so with us working so much, you know, we wrote songs and come away and then had different ideas and went back and wrote some more. And then we went into another sort of rehearsal room and studio and it was Mick's house, and we did some more there. And so it came to be like that, you know, and everybody enjoyed doing it. Nobody got on each other's nerves. Everybody had a little bit to put into the song, lyrics and everything. So it really worked a lot better than we thought it might. And so that, you know, now we've set the precedent that we will be doing it again.
Do you have any favorite songs on this album?
Favorite song? Yeah, to be honest, there's not really any songs that I don't like. I like them all. I suppose one of my favourites was simply because it was a different way for Smokie to do things, was Endless Ways. I really do like the song. But I think there's some great songs on there. We're doing Love on a Wire live now. We're doing Tomorrow live at the moment. We're doing Home Is Anywhere You Are, which I would have to say is probably the class song on the album. It's a really classic song. So, but it's got a good mixture for everybody, old and young.
And Mick, tell me a little bit about yourself, and your role in the band.
Well, as you know, I play lead guitar. I've been here for 7.5 years now, which has obviously flown, been a lot of change in my life in that time. Got married, had kids, and still enjoying it. Great, good fun.
And what do you do in the band?
Play lead guitar and mandolin and acoustic guitar, whatever they throw at me, really. The live set's changed a little bit over the last couple of years, so we bring a mandolin out occasionally and I play acoustic guitar a little bit more. But, my main role live is obviously playing lead guitar and doing backing vocals.
How would you describe being in a band like Smokie for so many years and traveling so much around and having family, as you told, and married?
Well, obviously it's a job. It's how I earn a living and pay all the bills at home. But because you're doing something you enjoy, you don't think of it as a job really. I suppose it's a damn sight easier than working a normal job, I guess. But it still has its moments of we get up early on a morning. It's not all what everybody seems to think it is. There's a lot of times where we're waiting about, but I enjoy it, so it doesn't feel like a job.
Do you get time to write songs when you're on the road?
Not really when we're on the road. Odd times ideas might come to you, but no, not really. I would write a song more at home. I get odd ideas at home, while I'm out on the road, but I would generally piece it together at home.
How was it this time to make your own songs on the album instead of playing others as you have done on the 2 other albums you have done lately? Well,
for me it was long overdue. I was itching to get writing the songs, and at least when we wrote together at the rehearsal studio, it made it feel much more of a band album. We've all got individual songs on there, but with the fact that I think there's 5 or 6 songs what the band have wrote together and worked on together, and it just makes it feel a much more complete project, that we've all had a big input into. And it's a great album, and obviously it was long overdue. I think the fans have been desperate for it for 3 years. So it's just taken a long time coming, but it was out of our hands a little bit, but glad to say that it's here now and they can buy it,
Do you guys as a band have other feelings for your own songs comparing to songs other persons have wrote for you?
Well, I think everybody likes to think that their song is good enough to reach the album or whatever, but collectively we make a decision on whether the song suits the band, whether it's going to be right to play live, all that kind of thing comes into it. So no matter what you think of your song individually, you have to agree between the 5 of us that song's suitable to go on the album, and that's what we did. I have a couple of songs on there which got on, which I wrote, and I brought other songs along which weren't suitable. And we said no, that's not good enough, or that's not going to be right, but that's a democratic process within Smokie, and that's how it should be.
Do you have any favorite song on this album? Is it one of your own?
Well, my favorite song on the album is Why. It's my favorite song. One is I just think it's a lovely ballad. And we all wrote it. We all had a hand in writing it. Some people would throw a line in or whatever, but we all had a good hand in writing it. And we did things on that particular song, which we went a little bit further with the backing vocals and things like that, where we just did things a little bit more out of the ordinary. But I think the song is very, very strong. I think it's a great ballad, So that's my favourite.
Terry, you are the one who have been in Smokie for the longest time. Actually, you were one of the guys who started out Smokie. Tell me a little bit about yourself, because there can be some listeners, I don't think so, but there can be some listeners who don't know your name and what you're doing in the band. So tell me a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm Terry Utley. I'm bass player with Smokie, and I've been doing that since I was at school, really. Left school, and we started the band almost, about a year and a half after we'd left school. And we were 7 years on the road before we had any form of success whatsoever with record companies, and it's been going that way ever since, thank goodness. But we took a little short break in the 80s, and then got back together. So it's been a lovely ride. I've loved every minute of it.
Terry, is it still fun to be a part of Smokie like it was in the beginning, or can you ever get tired of being a part of the same band for so many years?
No, I mean, like I said, I did take a break in the 80s, and I went to San Francisco to join a band over there, a guy called Pat Thrall and Tommy Aldridge. They were with Pat Travers' band, which was an American rock band, and they'd left and formed their own thing, and invited me to go across there and join them. Sadly, it didn't work because of the recession in the 80s, and so that sort of fell apart. But Pat had been voted the top new guitar player of America, even. So we had a bit of a chance there, But like I said, the recession, took over that sort of happening. They both went great ways. Pat's been with Meatloaf for years now, and Tommy went to Whitesnake. It was a good fun time.
8 years is a long time waiting for a new album with your own written songs. How come it should take so long?
Well, we did the Wild Horses album in Nashville, and to us it was like a turning point for Smokie, and we enjoyed it very, very much. But the record company here was in a little bit of turmoil with a takeover by EMI, and basically the Wild Horses didn't get the promotion that it deserved because of this takeover bid. So it got left on the shelf, I suppose. And then we'd had an idea years and years ago about doing cover versions and songs that we really liked that we wish we had have recorded. And nobody was interested, and then and that was about 10 years, I suppose. Nobody was interested in this idea, and then George Michael comes out with one, and somebody else comes out with one, and then the record company go, "Hey, that's a good idea." So you didn't listen to us the first time, So anyway, we recorded the Uncovered album, and it was such a success. The record company said, "Can we have two, please?" So we said, "Okay, fine, but no more. We don't want to be known as a covers band." It was just a project, but it became a long project, and you can't be releasing albums every 6 months, year. You've got to give some breathing space for the fans and whatever. So, and then of course it's been a year and a half in the making, this album. So because we tour so extensively. Getting in the studio and then going out on the road and back in the studio, back on the road, write a little bit more and back on the road. So that's why it's taken so long. So when you add all that up, between 97 it was when Wild Horses came out, and you take like sort of 18-month periods between 3 albums, it works out around right.
How are you working with the songs when you're writing the songs together? Are you doing it when you're on the tour also, or is it only between the tours you are working together and meet all of you guys? Because I know you live not close to each other. It must be a trip to take.
Yeah, it's more of a trip for Martin because he lives in Scotland. We're all within an hour and a half of each other, so it's not that bad. But on the road, it's very difficult because you're travelling all day. You're working at night, So it's very difficult to find a space where you can do it. You know, sometimes you can take a guitar into your bedroom, into your hotel room or something, but it's not convenient, you know. But when we were together writing, it was just it was a blast, you know, because then you start writing strange and rude words for a song, and everybody would laugh, and obviously we couldn't use them, but we changed all the lyrics to all sorts of things, and it was enlightening for 5 people. I've never done it before. 5 people to be having input, and things would be written down, and then if somebody came up with a better line, then that would be scrubbed out, and another one came in if it fit the story, you know. But we'd have a bit of a story line for it, you know. It's like a storyboard.
So you start out with making a storyboard for what should this song be about. Of course, a lot of Smokie songs is about love, but there's a lot of combinations into that area.
Yeah, there's a lot of if you look at most songs by anybody, it's all to do with boy meets girl, girl loses boy, boy starts crying, and all that sort of stuff, you know, by anybody. I think love sells. Love hurts, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's one that Mike did with one of his friends it's called African Nights, and it's all about you know, how it used to be in Africa, and they've taken the chains off, and it's not, it doesn't even remotely political, although some people could look at it that way. It's just a fun production number that we've done.
Do you do the composing first and then write the lyrics afterwards, or how do you do it?
That's difficult to say. I mean, sometimes I wrote, for instance, 15 stories, and not one of them is on this album yet.
Okay.
So, because those 15 stories are not finished yet, if you know what I mean. So what I shall do is, for the next album, I shall give my lyrics to the rest of the guys and say, what can you come up with, you know. And sometimes I'll get an idea for a song and I will record it in my studio at home, and then think about a story afterwards. So it can be any which way, you know.
No. Do you have a favorite song on this album?
There's a track called Endless Ways that I really like. It's a very powerful song. And I like very much a song that we wrote together called Why. It's a very beautiful ballad. Yeah, it's great. But, you know, how do you choose a favourite? You know, there's nothing that I dislike, but there's one that I might skip when I've got it on the stereo, but that's about it.
Would you tell us which one?
Not at all.
Thanks for giving time for this interview, Terry.
Thanks, Stig.